Welcome to The Other Side of the Page, a bookish podcast where we yap about the books we love
and the songs that give us main character energy.
We're here to sift through the chaos that is our TBR.
And to let you know why a book might just be your next favorite read.
I'm Britt, dramatic plot twist lover and champion for MMCs needing to be more pathetic and down bad.
And I'm Hannah, reader of at least 5 books at once and a detailed fantasy map enthusiast.
Every Wednesday, well, actually now every other Wednesday for summer, press play on a brand new bookish episode.
Stay up to date with the books we will be covering by following us on social media at othersideofthepagepod on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads.
And don't forget to follow, rate, and review the podcast a shining 5 stars on your preferred platform because it helps us so much with visibility.
Yes, this week we get to talk about You Won't Forget Me by Mazey Eddings.
Yes, we'll be talking about our song choices alongside the plot and chatting about our favorite moments, so grab yourself an iced coffee.
Or iced chai.
And let's turn the page together.
Dear reader, here's the synopsis of You Won't Forget Me. And I apologize in advance, my allergies are killing me, so bear with me and my little stuffed nose here. But Cubby Clark's life is falling apart. All she's ever cared about is making music, but on the brink of hitting it big, Cubby's on-again, off-again boyfriend and lead of her band, Connor, abandons the group. What's worse, his solo career rockets to overnight stardom based on a hit single about how bad she was in bed. With a fractured band, a toxic ex airing her dirty laundry in every interview, and a horrible case of writer's block, the only thing she can take comfort in is her best friends and fellow bandmates, Darcy and Harry. But when an inadvertently romantic picture of Cubby and Harry goes viral at the same night Cubby and Darcy hook up, something obviously very normal for these two heterosexual gal pals, Cubby and her band find themselves in the spotlight as tabloids eat up the rumored love triangle between Cubby, Harry, and Connor. Thrust by their label into a whirlwind tour, all Cubby wants is to turn to Darcy for support. But ever since the passionate hookup they never talk about, there's nothing but tension and distance between the usually inseparable pair. Under the pressure of newfound fame, an extremely dirty tour bus, and long-buried feelings, Cubby and Darcy have a single summer to unravel the truth of what they might mean to each other, or facing losing the other forever. And I think you should read this because Britt won't get this reference, but I think you should read this if you read Daisy Jones and the Six and you wanted Daisy and Karen to end up together, or if you're just looking for a childhood friends, a lover's book with some band drama.
And if you do it on audio, there are original songs on audio as well, which I'm sure we'll talk about, but you might want to avoid this book, though, if any of the following are potentially triggering for you: sexual content, mental illness, toxic relationships, misogyny, emotional abuse and gaslighting, homophobia, alcoholism in that space, as well as infidelity. So, as always, check your triggers. You know yourself best, but just keep that in mind as you read.
Yeah.
All right, so now, song choices.
Yes, before we do our song choices, I do think we should just do Mazey's playlist that she has. Yes. And we can just read them off one by one.
Perfect.
And this is like what she posts on social media, but I thought it was cute. And some of these songs I feel like really fit. America by Simon and Garfunkel.
Sleep on the Floor by the Lumineers.
Graceland 2 by Phoebe Bridgers.
Dorothea by Taylor Swift.
Halloween by Noah Kahan.
Antihero Country Version by Josiah and the Boombills.
Mount Everest by Labyrinth.
No Choir by Florence and the Machine.
And Emmylou by First Aid Kit.
Beautiful.
So to add on to that playlist,
yes,
I chose Curious by Haley Kiyoko.
Love. I chose Gold Rush by Taylor Swift.
Both great songs.
So great. Now, we are going to head into our Pages Turn to Bridges Burn section, which means that we are going to be talking about this book cover to cover. Spoilers are ahead. If you have not read the book yet and you don't want to be spoiled, please pause the podcast and come back once you have read it. If you're just here for the vibes or you have read You Won't Forget Me, welcome on in. Let's get started by talking about our theme lyrics and a little bit about the book.
Yeah, so this is our first sapphic romance book that we are covering on the pod, hashtag Pride Month.
Woo!
And I feel like we do like to find books with tropes that might not be our first choice.
Yes.
So in the past, we've opened Brit up to second chance romance. Mm-hmm. And this was a way to open up me to like friends to lovers, because I do feel like I avoid that in some situations.
It's so funny because you just live for second chance romances. I live for friends to lovers. And like we always just disagree.
Because if you think about like Even like M. Hen, right? Like
Yeah,
I love Happy Place and you love People We Meet on Vacation. And I feel like that's like
that's
the
exactly what the
tropes right
vibe
there.
is.
So
Yep. I know, because the rest of our list, you guys, for MHen is like completely the same for the
yeah,
most part. And
except those
our
two.
favorite and least favorite are opposite. Now, while this story does take place between bandmates on tour and can seem very fictional, childhood friends to lovers, or, some of their thoughts and feelings is probably relatable for a lot of people, especially if you've had, those childhood crushes that don't seem to go away.
And this is one thing I do think I feel like this is like the librarian in me too, is like
Hmm.
books are out there to like help open up conversations and show perspectives that you might not have been exposed to. So I
Yes,
think these type of books are very important in the reader space,
agreed.
um, out there for people to read.
100%.
And so let's talk about our theme lyrics.
Yes.
So my theme lyric is, are we just friends? You say you wanted me, but you're sleeping with him. You think of me, I'm what you see when you look at the sky. I don't believe you. You ain't been loving me right.
Mhm.
And this is the theme lyric I chose to highlight first because, like, it starts out, are we just friends?
Yeah.
Which it's friends to lovers between Cubby and Darcy. And
Yep.
it ends with, I don't believe you. You ain't been loving me right. Which I feel like that is how most of this book is like, okay, I don't believe you. Like, what's going on? You are reciprocating that right there. But I
Yeah.
will say, this is one of the first songs that popped in my head too when reading this book because, like, the song is about a girl, a woman who is looking at like their past lover who's with another partner and being like, are you happy? Is it serious? And I feel like that's Darcy to Cubby is like, okay, like you were with Connor, then you broke up, and then we hooked up, but then now you're fake dating Harry? Like, is it serious? Like, what is going on there? So that's how I felt like this song fit.
I love that. And then my theme lyric is, I feel like I could have plucked anything from Gold Rush, but
Hmm.
the opening sequence here, the gleaming, twinkling eyes like sinking ships on water so inviting, I almost jump in. And I think that this song to me leans more from Darcy's perspective than it does from Cubby's, but I think it does apply to them both. And
Yeah.
this line in particular is just all of those moments that they share where like they look into each other's eyes and there's longing, there's desire, but there's so much fear, specifically for Darcy with her family and the way that they might
Hmm.
react to her, and the kind of helicopter parent homophobia that she's experienced with them, because Cubby's parents are two women. A lesbian couple,
Yeah.
and it was very normal, very like presented to her. But we even see at the end, like Cubby struggling to come to terms with her own sexuality, even it being a natural daily part of her life. And it just
Yep.
goes to show how wrestling with your sexuality especially in a society that is not all accepting and it's not like normalized by everyone, can be internalized by us. But I just like the idea that when they look into each other's eyes, they're looking at sinking ships
Yep.
because they know that they feel like it's a bad idea, but they just can't help themselves. And that's really why I picked Gold Rush. And I have some more lyrics later, but I just thought it was a really good fit.
Yeah, I love that. You mentioned it earlier, but I will say the
Yes.
audiobook was a lot of fun for this one because there is original music throughout, so the audiobook narrators do sing it, which I thought was a lot of fun to
Yeah.
like, because in the book you like will read it, but you don't know what the author's like thinking,
Yes.
the inflection or the type of music necessarily. So that was a lot of fun.
Yep. Now, book starts out, we go back to high school. We have a young Cubby, and she is, they have their band, and she is nervous because she's going to have her first kiss with Connor.
Mm-hmm.
And they're hanging out, her and her BFF Darcy, and she's like, "We're besties. Nothing will happen. I'll just give you some pointers." So they kiss. And it turns out to be like way more than practice. They're
Yeah.
having a lot of weird, conflicting, mixed feelings. Interrupted by Cubby's mom and brother. And side note, I really loved the autism representation of her brother in the book as well. I just thought that he was like such a well developed like side character that doesn't have a lot of page time, but was very impactful when he was there.
Mm-hmm.
But what I really loved about this scene is the parallel that we had of the description of her kissing Darcy for the first time versus kissing Connor, and how it just felt like two very different things in the way that he handled her versus the way that she handled her. And you could tell immediately from the way that Connor like took that situation on that there were bad vibes.
Yep. And so we fast forward
Mhm.
to the present times where Connor, Cubby's ex, is going viral for a song about how bad his ex was in bed, which everyone's assuming is Cubby because they were
Yep.
a famous couple, famous in quotes. So Cubby is spiraling because she is addicted to social media and what people are commenting and like just
Yep.
is on it constantly, which is not great for her mental health or anyone's mental health on that
Correct.
side.
Yep.
Um, and so the band tries to put together a plan to make it big. And in the midst of Connor leaving the band and his solo career kind of blowing up,
Yep.
I
Go ahead.
think it's funny that like they go through names and then the name that they land on is Tea Time Tantrum,
Yes.
which just makes me laugh. But they are a UK band that's touring in the US. So
Yes.
it's kind of funny.
Yeah. And one night they end up going out drinking. Darcy takes a cute picture of Cubby and Harry, which was like a little racy, a little saucy, and they post it online. And then, of course, rumors are swirling the next day. Now, mind you, the song that came out, that Connor came out with, he actually stole from Cubby. The lyrics were
Okay.
stolen, which is just adding insult to injury, pour salt in the wound. But after they post that picture, before anything happens, Cubby and Darcy go back to their place. They get a little closer. We know they're very close friends. They both lean into the touch. And they do this regularly, but tonight, after their few drinks, they they have a hot and heavy hookup.
Yeah.
They go for the hookup. Now here's the thing. This is the problem. They don't address it in the morning, except that it was just a drunken fun time and that they don't remember.
Yeah. I'm like,
I
ladies, please. Like,
Like, please. We all know. We all know y'all be lying.
yeah,
Uh,
just talk about it. Just talk about your feelings.
I know it was so hard, but then like the book would have ended there and
I know.
all that fun stuff, but it's fine.
Uh,
But yeah, it's that soul crushing, like, this had a lot of longing and a lot of yearning in it and a lot of, what could be, what, isn't. And um,
yeah.
yeah.
And so the band is like, all right, we're all on board with Harry and Cubby like dating, to perceive that like, oh, it was a love triangle and the Connor's out.
Oh,
Cubby and Harry are now dating. And Cubby's hesitant though, because she's like, is this really the best route? But
yeah.
kind of everybody in the band's like, okay. And then she like looks to Darcy and Darcy's like, yeah, it's fine. Like Darcy seems on board, but is she really?
Yeah. It's just that fake dating. She's like, I don't want to present a certain way to the public and all this stuff. And she's like vehemently against this, right? But they all convince her. They say it's going to be good. And she goes, okay, I guess it's going to be good. And then they go on tour with her in a seemingly public relationship with Harry. And they get placed in a variety of accommodations that are supposed to be good, but like a shady motel, a pay by the hour love shack, a place where the bed collapses immediately on impact, like really
So
just
sketchy.
so sketchy. And their tour manager is like, haha, look what I've done for you.
I know. I think his name's like Kevin, and he's
Evan,
just
it's
like
yes.
trying so hard. He's like, look at this.
I don't know if anyone watched Young and Hungry, but Kevin reminded me of Josh's assistant. Like, what? Oh my God, what was his name? Hold on.
Totally.
Elliot. Yeah, I don't know if anyone has watched Young and Hungry, but Kevin reminded me 100% of Elliot, who was Josh's high maintenance assistant from the show, and just so funny, so dramatic, and like the way that he used to wear like the suits every day, and then would just like everything would crumble around him. That's how I felt like
Yeah.
Kevin was.
No, that's a great comparison because I feel like he did remind me of somebody, but I couldn't place it. And as soon as you
Yeah.
said that, it like clicked. I was like, yes,
Yes.
totally.
It's the same energy, and, like, if you guys have not watched Young and Hungry, it's an older show, it has Emily Osment. I promise you, it is so cheesy, but it's so delightful. It is such a
Yes.
delightful little romp. Go watch it. Highly
Mhm.
recommend.
So fun. So, they go around tour and, Harry and Cubby are like, playing it up on stage and everything. And it's like,
Yep.
okay, what's going on? And Cubby goes to lunch with her brother and his, I don't know, fiance, I think, fiance. I
Like,
don't think they're married, right?
yeah, I don't
Like
think so.
longtime partner,
Yeah.
Tilly. And they talk about life, and Tilly is like, "Oh, I'm surprised that Darcy didn't come." And Cubby's like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah. Yep.
And Tilly's like, "Well, you guys are best friends. Like, you're attached
Mhm.
to the hip." And
Yeah.
then, like, the way their conversation leads is just like Cubby does open up and tells them, like, I'm just confused about my sexuality. I don't know. Do I like Darcy? Do I not like Darcy? Do I like her more than a friend? And like you said, like, I feel like her brother's like not picking up on the cues. And like
Yes.
Tilly's like, "Come on, Cubby." And
Well,
then finally, like, once her brother like clicks, like, it's just a very, I feel like, safe environment for Cubby to like
yes.
open up about these feelings, and like a couple of great people that know her and know Darcy to
Yep.
kind of talk through that.
100%. And again, in the midst of all this, as she's trying to sort out her feelings, like parse through them, she is fake with Harry, but you can tell that Harry's also getting some very real feelings, or they're like surfacing for the first time while he's with her. And so it's creating a lot of tension, a lot of conflict. But now, Cubby, while they're out on tour, actually gets an abscess tooth and is hospitalized for it. And as soon as I heard this, I thought
Which
it was
freaks
so
me out.
funny. That also freaks me out, but here, Mazey Eddings is a dentist. And so,
Oh,
yes. So I heard this and I was like, okay, this feels like something that she has dealt with before, that she
yep.
has seen, but that is her day job is dentistry. So I thought that that was like a fun little, nod to her everyday life. But Darcy ends up coming to the hospital, taking over for Kevin because Kevin is like, get me the fuck out of here. Can't figure out what I'm doing, and takes care of her. And when, after she comes off of the medication, they go to this like little remote house and they are, she's a little loopy, but they're taking care of each other. And after like Cubby kind of comes to, they end up admitting finally their feelings for each other after everything, after, kisses with Harry, after all of this social media rampage. And they're in this insular, like insulated bubble where
Hmm.
they feel safe enough to do this. And this is also where we learn more about Darcy's family. We heard about them a lot at the beginning, like in their childhood years, but Darcy's family, like her mom's reaction when the topic of sexuality came up was basically just like gay people don't exist, essentially.
Yeah,
Like
she
she
just
just
like was silent and just
and just
like,
shut her down and moved on. And
yep.
her parents are very, very conservative, very tight, and they keep like a tight grip
Yep.
on Darcy and they won't let her go. And so she's very scared to
Yeah, because I think Cubby is like, "Oh, let's take this public. Like, I'm ready."
yeah. Well, because
Like,
she had
this
talked to
is,
her moms and like
yeah.
they, she discovered, like I was talking about earlier, that like these pieces of her sexuality are kind of coming out. And they also have this like this scene reminded me, I'm actually gonna parallel a lyric here because this scene reminded me when they're like on the beach and they're going to like a little ice cream shop and they're going out and about. One of the lines in Gold Rush is at dinner parties, I call you out on your contrarian shit, which is something that Darcy and Cubby would always do, like ping pong back and forth. But specifically in the coastal town we wandered round, had never seen a love as pure as it, and then it fades into the gray of my day old tea because it could never be. And I thought that that felt very much like their insulated little bubble where they finally admitted their feelings before they had the realization that like it's almost dangerous for Darcy to come out because we don't know what the implications are with her family. And as it is for so many queer folks, like still to
Yeah.
this day, unfortunately. And so I thought that the way that Maisie handled this was done with a lot of care and respect to her characters. But yeah, that line just reminded me of their moments together, you
Oh,
know?
definitely.
Yeah.
And so Connor, lovely Connor, my one of my best friend's exes is Connor, and so I just like, we
Yep.
don't like Connors.
Boo.
Actually, two of my best friends, well, one of my best friends and one of my friends' exes are Connors, and they're just
Mm.
assholes. But anyway, so Connor like approaches Cubby and is like, "Come to my hotel, like let's talk." And so Cubby goes, and Connor's like, "Oh, we should pair back up for some music," and she's like,
The fuck?
"No, thank you." But as she's leaving the hotel, paparazzi is staged outside and catches Cubby leaving, and she's like, "Shit."
Shocker, because
And
Connor's a
so,
piece of shit.
yep. And so, of course, it sparks rumors about Connor and Cubby, and the band is like, "Excuse me?" And feels like Cubby went behind their backs, like, "Take this meeting." And they're like, "Are you gonna do it?" And she's like, "No."
Mhm.
But like I feel like everyone felt so betrayed
Yeah.
based off social media. And I think that that's also like a theme in this book that,
Yes.
you know, is there is like don't believe everything you see and don't focus on that.
Yeah.
And like there's a lyric in my song too that's like been looking through the text and all the photos, but don't you worry, I can handle it. And like it repeats
Mhm.
again, no, don't you worry, I can handle it. And I feel like, you know, with social media, like you're sitting there reading the comments and the photos or paparazzi pics, and you're like, I got this, like I can handle it. But really, like, you need to take a step back and like try to figure out the whole story, which once the band did believe her, then everything worked out a little better.
Yes. And so the band ends up taking some time apart. And when they come together, they're going to perform at this Pride Festival. And at the Pride Festival, they were going to do this cover. I believe it was a Bruce Springsteen song, if I'm not mistaken. And they were like, it's Pride. We should be doing like gay icons, like something like that. So they get on stage and
Like Haley Kiyoko.
exactly. And Cubby had finally broken her writer's block after her and Darcy admitted their feelings. So she wrote this song and she takes to the stage. And as this is happening, like right before this happens, Darcy does like being surrounded by by the Pride Festival and by people who are out and loud and proud. She decided to take to the internet to post about her being pansexual. I'm pretty sure she was pansexual, if I'm not mistaken. She was either pansexual or
That sounds
bisexual.
right. Yeah.
That
I'm
sounds
pretty
right.
sure it was, I feel like it
Yep.
was pansexual.
Yes. I'm so sorry. I don't have the physical copy to double check. I did
I
this one on
know.
audio, but it she posts about this and she decides to go public and they have this moment and Cubby and Harry share a very heartfelt moment about her feelings for Darcy and Harry kind of always knew, but there was a sliver of hope. There was
Yeah.
a sliver of hope through there and they performed the song, the original song, and Cubby talks about how the song was for the woman that she loves. And at the end of the book, we fast forward to see that they've kind of gone silent. They've gone off the grid. They're coming out with new music, going on a world tour,
Hmm.
and they are interviewing with Rolling Stone for the first time, like since they went off the grid before their new music comes out. And it's just like a very lovely, wholesome one, but there's a lot of emotional ups and downs in this book.
Yeah. Yeah. And so they live happily ever after.
Of course they do.
But it was a fun read. I feel like it was good for us to read some sapphic romance in there.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we really have been trying to like diversify our reading and, read more from people who have different backgrounds than us, authors of color, people from the queer community. And, we only cover so many books on the podcast, but I think
Hmm.
it's so nice to read about someone's experience, like Hannah was saying, other than your own. And this is where, like, I'm about to get a little preachy here for a moment, but we can talk about the literacy crisis. And it's not just about being able to read, it's about nuance and comprehension. And reading is the best way to build empathy, is
Yeah.
through learning about other people's experiences that are other than your own. So we've been really trying to value that and live by that over the last, because we just started reading again, like full out for fun. And you don't think about the media you're consuming, but I
Hmm.
think that there's a way to consciously include more diversity in your reading without it
Yeah. And I
feeling like
think,
like because I've heard some people say it's like, oh, I'm not going to look up everything that I read, and it's like it doesn't take that long. Like you're already looking up
no.
the synopsis, you're already looking up things like
Yeah.
I
And
don't
I
know.
think when we interviewed Danica
Yes.
Nava, and something that she brought up that like I didn't think about much either is like, you go to these big stores and it's like all marketing, right? So it's going to be
Yep.
those authors that like sell every single time. And so like
Mhm.
taking a moment too to like look at other shelves, like don't
Yes.
just like fall for that marketing because there's so many great stories and authors that aren't getting that shelf time either.
Yeah, just,
um
like, don't look at just the end caps, like,
yep.
look at the bottom shelves, look at the books that are tucked behind, and I think we can
Mhm.
even use like, we covered female fantasy earlier this year, and I think that this book is highly underrated in the fantasy romance space, and
Yeah.
I think it's also I do think due in part to, like, exposure. She's an author of color, and I think that, that does impact the way that people approach and look at things, and so, we're not perfect, we definitely it can do and have done, better through
Yes.
that. But we really have been trying to prioritize reading from other perspectives and experiences that are not our own.
Yes. Yes, we have.
So, do you have any other lyrics or anything like that before we wrap it up?
Not really. Yeah, I think I've talked about what I need to talk about. What about you?
I just have a couple of lines from the bulk of Gold Rush, which is like, I don't like that anyone would die to feel your touch. Everybody wants you. Everybody wonders what it would be like to love you. And that's just the social media of it all, you know?
Yep.
And then specifically, these two lines feel like both it could be Cubby or Darcy, which is I don't like slow motion double vision and rose blush. I don't like that falling feels like flying till the bone crush. And I thought this song was very fitting for them because it's about things that you can't have and that the wondrous part of falling, the gold rush of it all is what ends in the bone crush. What ends in the what ifs and it could
Yeah,
never be. And it just felt very much like they're the arc to get to the end of where they were.
definitely.
Yeah.
So go listen to all of the songs that we talked about earlier. If you haven't yet and you've read the book, go listen to the playlist and relive it. But thank you so much for turning the pages with us this week. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Patreon, and join our newsletter once we get out of the spam jail there.
I know
And
it's so bad.
keep up with everything on the other side of the page.
Yes, and please, please, please drop a review and a 5-star rating of the podcast on your preferred platform and share us with your bookish besties.
We will see you in 2 weeks, which that does mark almost halfway through the year 2026. So we
Yep.
will be talking about our favorites from the first half of the year and what we are looking forward to round out the year.
Exactly. So we cannot wait to talk to you about all of that on July 1st and forever and always.
Keep reading with kindness.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.